So we're going to have a look at one of the writing activities that is inside your writing pack. So if you head over to the school website, choose Key Information and Home Learning. Within that section you can choose Home Learning Packs, and the activity we're looking at today comes in the writing pack. This is a task aimed at Key Stage 2. This task is called the Hidden Temple. The humidity was unbearable. Perhaps when they entered the temple it would be cooler. The group had been travelling together for days, fighting their way through the jungle. They'd exhausted themselves, wrestling with vines and branches, drenched in sweat as the heat attacked them. All around them the air was heavy. Each breath was a gasp. The jungle climate was oppressive and they were in need of rest. As the group hacked their way through the dense foliage with their machetes, they had glimpsed the hidden temple. Approaching the door with a sense of growing trepidation, they knew they had to go inside. Curiosity and desperation had got the better of them. Some questions for you to think about. What does trepidation mean? Why might they be feeling it? Who are the group? Why are they in the jungle? What does curiosity and desperation got the better of them mean? Would you venture into the temple? What might they find inside? Do you think all of the group want to go in? Why is the floor green? This would be a good point to pause the video and jot down your thoughts. So we're going to look at emotive writing, how we can add some emotions to show what the characters are thinking and feeling. I've got the sentence, I stepped through the doorway, preparing myself for the worst. I want to show how the character's feeling at this point, so I'm thinking of some words to describe those feelings. If I was about to step through that doorway, I think I might be feeling uncertain, apprehensive, scared, shaking, and nervous. These words can now be added to the sentence. So I can put the emotion words as a sentence opener. My sentence could be, apprehensive, I stepped through the doorway preparing myself for the worst. It could be, nervous, I stepped through the doorway preparing for the worst. Maybe I could put two of them together. Nervous and scared, I stepped through the doorway preparing myself for the worst. I could put three together. Nervous, scared, shaking, I stepped through the doorway preparing for the worst. 3 is the maximum I'm going to put together. I've decided I quite like this sentence. Apprehensive, scared, shaking, I stepped through the doorway preparing myself for the worst. So this is my sentence. Apprehensive, scared and shaking, I stepped through the doorway preparing myself for the worst. I've included 2 commas and the word and to make sure my sentence is correct. Now I've got a 6th sentence. The temple was big and it was covered in green stuff. Big and stuff are weak words. They don't tell the reader what I need them to know. I need to think of some synonyms for big and synonyms for stuff to help this sentence to make more sense. Instead of big, I could say huge, large, enormous, immense, great. Instead of stuff, I could say plants, foliage, vines, leaves. I'm going to experiment with these words to decide which are the best ones for my sentence. I could have, the temple was huge and it was covered in green vines. The temple was huge and it was covered in green leaves. The temple was enormous and it was covered in green leaves. Why don't you try experimenting with different words that would work in this sentence? Now for your writing task. You've got 2 choices. Option 1. Can you draw what the group of adventurers might look like? You could label the equipment they might be carrying as well. Option 2. Write a diary as if you're one of the group on the expedition. Think about including some emotive language like we've practiced, as well as using good adjectives so that a reader can imagine the setting.